How's it? And today's Arm Day was brought to you by Poseidon himself, if not the best of all the Greek mythology gods. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be like Zeus. I want to be like Hades, because, you know, I'm dark, mysterious, and really I just kind of smell and don't know how to socialize, and you're just trying to be mysterious as your personality. Which, you know, take a shower, go have a chat with people. It's not that deep. But anyway, people want to have pumps like Greek gods, naturally. And if there was one Greek god to whom I would want to have the pump of, would be Fishman himself, Mr. Starfish, creator of creatine monohydrate, Poseidon. Brings all the good things to life. Tuna, so full of all the enriching nutrients that you need to build big bloody mountains of a bicep and shoulder. And who does it come from? The ocean. It's pretty crazy. So I grew up with a family who pretty religiously made me watch Earth and not really cartoons. So I kind of watched National Geographics and that sort of thing. Now, obviously, I think that's what made me find an appeal behind like anime in my older age, because I was deprived of it in my youth. So, but in the process of it, it was very handy, because now I do know quite an enormous quantity about, you know, our Earth, and it's pretty flipping cool. You know, first of all, we're fucking it like royally, and it's not great at all. It's actually a bit miserable when you really get down to it. And if Poseidon, Zeus and Hades did really float about, I'll tell you what, they wouldn't be rocking around with, you know, satellite fragments in the clouds. You know, obviously Zeus would convert those into, you know, a small little bit of a bracelet. And apparently satellites are made like almost enormously out of gold. So yeah, I wouldn't see why he wouldn't turn it into a big Cuban chain. Then obviously Poseidon would be rocking them them bottle cap and plastic straw earrings. or Hades would be like underground. He would just be chilling with the fossil fuels, which is kind of just like dead dinosaurs. But he, again, kind of just like a miserable dude in a small hovel. That's kind of how I imagine Hades. And also, I don't really imagine him to be jacked, kind of more scrawny, you know, maybe at the starter gym bro, and then you kind of get the intermediate, which would be Zeus, because it's just a bit like, you know, in your face and annoys you a bit. And then you have Poseidon, the goat, the absolute legend. 100% Poseidon has bigger biceps than Zeus. I don't care. Oh, Zeus is the like king of all the gods. Oh, shut your mouth. How do you know that, for starters? Because I reckon Poseidon's actually the king, and he just keeps it on hush because he wants the, you know, eyes not to be on him, because he's such a chill dude like that, you know. And hence Zeus, the arrogant one, gets all the attention. Big brain, big brain. Now, this is where I get a bit lost, because I used to read all the Percy Jackson books as a kid. And, you know, you get the demigods, which is like the half child, half god, which is pretty flipping sick. And like, if I could choose, I would love to be a demigod. Imagine that. You're like, dad is the king of the ocean. Well, at least in my version of this, he's actually the king of everything, which is pretty rad. And then, obviously, obviously, powers come with that. And not just normal powers, superpowers, enormous powers, powers that grant you the abilities to, you know, water bend. You know, imagine someone is annoying you and you just summon water from the water fountain and just waterboard them. Just people aren't gonna be, okay, I'm sure there'd be rules and you're not particularly allowed to do that. Another cool one would be able to fly. And I assume that would probably be from, what's the messenger god called again? Whatever. You know, also Mars, or that would be pretty cool, the god of war. But that just sounds like angry. I feel like you'd just kind of be like walking around with like ginger hair and just ready to pop a fuse whenever someone like makes a slight remark at you. And I can also just imagine you being slightly lonely. Then again, it always goes back to either oh dear, it died. Loki's pretty flipping rad, actually, now that I think about it. If you've watched, I'm not a big fan of all the new Marvel movies that have come out. You know, it's a bit upsetting. Like, my childhood was like the original Spider-Man's, the original Captain America, Iron Man. Iron Man is the GOAT, by the way. And obviously also Spider-Man. But as it's progressed, it's just become a bit, you know, useless. I don't quite enjoy them anymore. I'm not sure if that's just because I've grown up as well, and like that's just part of the charm that's gone, is that I'm no longer a child, kind of like engulfed in this happiness of this make-believe superhero and villain sort of thing. But you know, Thor is a GOAT. All of them are so good. And you know, I've recently watched Loki, which was pretty rad, but again, pretty like bad at the same time. I think the actor kind of brings it up a bit. Same with Thor and the new Thors. Like Chris Hemsworth, absolute GOAT, but the rest of the cast, not so much. I don't know. Idris Elba, he's pretty cool, but I don't think he really featured it as much as he did in the old ones. Again, upsetting. I mean, the same thing goes with all the Star Wars movies. Like, the old ones were so good. And I know I watch back at them and I'm like, you know, I think it's partially because I was a child when I was watching them, and that's why I enjoyed them so much. But at the same time, the new ones just aren't that good. Like, with the exception of Mandalorian, I give Mandalorian a pass because Mandalorian is actually incredibly flipping good, and I enjoyed that a lot, and I need to watch the new season. Well, it's not really new anymore, I don't think, I just haven't watched it. But other than that, I feel like, do you know what it is? This is actually genuinely it. I came up with it the other day, well, I probably didn't come up with it, but I thought of it without, you know, aid from other people. I realized that all the movies that we are getting nowadays are just from like a director, right? It's from someone's head. We don't have movies coming from books. Like, think of all the good movies, you know, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, they all came from books or comic books. Hence, they already had a story that was behind it. Now people are just kind of making movies because they need movies, because people don't read. And, you know, it's a bit miserable. Like, you look at the whole Netflix and, you know, it's entertaining. There's some good stuff in there. And some of it is written by incredibly good scriptwriters and good directors. But some of the movies are absolutely appalling. Like, it's actually dreadful to watch. I've watched a couple things and I genuinely have like looked at it kind of puzzled and been like, how is this like allowed to be put onto like the standard of cinema? This is not cinema. This is almost like a high budget YouTube video. I reckon if you gave, okay, this could be incredibly arrogant and just ignorant of me, but I reckon if you gave me a significant quantity of money, right, like whatever they put into a Netflix movie, I would be able to create a better movie than some of those Netflix movies. Some of those Netflix movies are awful. They don't know how to color. Okay, the cinematics are normally pretty good, in fairness. However, the animations are awful. The acting is appalling. Like, think about it. I know this might tickle some toes, but if you've watched Outer Banks, you know, like 2 or 3 of the actors are pretty good. The rest are terrible. Like, it seems like they just kind of, they like actively looking at the camera and kind of know that's, you know, they're acting, and it doesn't feel natural. It's not great. It's not great at all. I don't even know where I ended up in this conversation, but I hope you've enjoyed. I hope it's been entertaining. Thanks for watching. Don't take anything I say for facts. I'm no genius, no doctor, no scientist. I'm just some fella. And Poseidon's the GOAT. I'll see you guys tomorrow.